Hello, I hope everybody's having a good evening. Welcome to my channel, Crochet with Lulu. I was asked a few weeks ago would I do a hook review. So I thought, well, while I'm at it, I'll do a yarn review too of the yarns that I'm familiar with and that I like. First of all, I'm not the best person to give hook advice. What I can tell you, if you are a new crocheter, if you have a local yarn shop near where you are, that is your best advice. Go in there and tell them what you are going to crochet. They will steer you in the right direction on the yarns you need for your projects and also the best hooks. Now, a few months ago, I moved. It's been almost a year ago. A lot of my things got displaced because I wasn't an organized mover. I think I was in denial about moving. My mother had just passed away, so I was dealing with that. My fur baby that I'd had for almost 10 years had to be put down. She had cancer as well. So it was a hard road for me, and I didn't want to face the fact that I was having to move my mother's things out of her home, and I had moved in to take care of her. So therefore I was having to move my things out and her things and my father's things when he was living, and it was just a situation I didn't want to be in. So a lot of my things, I was not organized, so a lot of my things got moved around, disshuffled. I know the vicinity, I have a travel trailer that I keep in my son's backyard, and so my things are in there. So I know they're there. It's just, I can't put my finger on. I've been several times looking for a certain pattern, a diagram. A friend of mine got me using diagrams 23 years ago, I guess. And I love diagrams. I do a lot of doilies, and I especially used to do a lot of doilies. So I love the diagrams for that because I just roll up my diagram, put it in my cone of yarn, and go back and get it when I need it. Unfortunately, I can't find the pattern I'm looking for. Getting back on hooks, I had one just like this, only it was a black case that's somewhere in my trailer, but my son bought me this about probably 6-8 months ago. It has all the hooks that I will probably ever want or use. Now, some of the larger hooks I bought at a thrift store, a size N. It's huge. And then this is my trusty 4.5 millimeter hook. I got it at the Dollar Quarter Tree when it was $1. A friend of mine gave me this, so I keep it either there in this pouch or on my table beside my chair. And then I have the plastic needles in here to weave in the tails. This kit came with clippers that I love, needles, aluminum needles to to weave in the ends, and then also stitch markers. I had never used stitch markers per se before. My stitch marker was a piece of yarn, yay long, different color than what I was crocheting with, and I would lay it in the area of my doily or my project, and then after a row or so I'd take it out and re-put it in there, or a paper clip. I've used paper clips, but these are fantastic. So when you purchase one of these pouches with crochet hooks in it, make sure it has your necessities, your stitch markers, many sizes of hooks. I use a lot of these small ones with my doilies, and I use the bigger ones for the other projects. Make sure your pouch has clippers preferably a measuring tape. If not, go to the Dollar Tree, which cost $1.25. Somewhere reasonable priced to get one of these. And then make sure it has your needles to weave in the ends. Another advice I can give you is, if you have available the yarn store near you, go in there and they will know what size hook for the project and for the yarn. Most of your yarn has a hook size on it. So when you go in to purchase yarn, read your labels. Read everything on the label. Read the safety requirements. This is a medium 4. It's 100% acrylic. This is the Mandala ombre. This is cool Freud. I have made beanies with this. It's wonderful to work. It is safe for washing machine to be washed, and it is safe for a dryer to be dry. Like I said, it's 100% acrylic. This particular cake, it's by Lion Brand. It is 5.3 ounces or 150 grams, and it's 344 yards or 315 meters. And there is the... Now, I love this because I love Mandala. They're soft and squishy. I had no clue what Mandala was until probably 6 months ago. Probably 6 months ago, maybe 7. I was looking through Walmart and Amazon. This came from Amazon, and I love Amazon. We're not affiliate of Amazon, although I wish we were. We need to be because we order so much stuff from there. But this pouch came from Amazon. This came from Walmart or Amazon. I really don't remember. But there again, it's the ombre collection. Mandalas, like I said, I had never heard of it till just a few months ago. You get a lot of yardage, so that means that you get more projects per cake. They come in a cake. I love Lion Brand. There's several yarns that I use that's Lion Brand. I was trying to see. The hook size is so small, I can't tell. But most of your yarns have the suggested hook size on them. So when you go in to do a project, if you're not familiar with yarns, ask for help. Find somebody in the store that's knowledgeable. If not, ask before you go. If you're going to a big chain store, I'm just using these off the top of my head. I've not been in years to a Michael's. And I don't know if I've ever been in a Joann's. I think I've been into a couple of Joann's way out of town. We don't have anything like that near where I live. We live in a small town. We have local yarn stores about 30 miles away. The best thing you can do is you know, type it in on YouTube. I'm going to make a baby blanket. The baby is not born yet. You know, I need a baby blanket. What are the best yarns? And you're going to get a lot of different people saying a lot of different things. But unless you have a yarn store that you can actually go and feel it and touch it, you know, and get somebody that makes things, you're probably going to get a lot of advice on YouTube. Find somebody that makes baby blankets, if that's what you're wanting to make. If you're going to make beanies, find the person on YouTube that does a lot of live tutorials or a lot of tutorials on making beanies. I can give you 2 names that do wonderful jobs on giving tutorials on hats and beanies and things like that. Bag O'Day, Crystal, excellent, wonderful. Watch her videos. And Jada in Stitches, 2 wonderful people. They do a lot of tutorials. They do a lot of hats, a lot of beanies, bucket hats. Those are your people. Baby blankets, I really have not paid that much attention to who does the baby blankets. This is very soft, but I don't know that I would want this particular acrylic for a baby blanket. You're probably going to want to find somebody that does a lot of baby blankets. Now, back when I was doing baby blankets years and years and years ago, we just went to Walmart and bought skeins of yarn. That was basically it. Now there's so many yarns available. There's so many hooks available. I have some Boyd hooks in this bag that I got at the thrift store. I didn't know there was that many brand names of hooks until just a few months ago. Now, I do want to try the Pioneer Woman's hooks. And when I get those and her yarn, I will do a review on the hooks and the yarn. I love Pioneer Woman. I used to watch her every day when we had satellite. I love her. I love what her family is about. And I know that her hooks have to be awesome. They're beautiful. And they have the grips, and I like that because that's the one thing that I like about the little dollar quarter tree hook, I call it. That being said, I'm probably not your best bet to do a hook review. The only thing I can tell you is read your labels, because normally it has the suggested hook size on the label. Somewhere on the label, it will have the suggested hook size. I use what's comfortable when I'm working with yarns and hooks. That's what I do. Now, here's the other mandala. And I love this one. The reason I bought this color is I thought it was so pretty because it reminds me of blue jeans. And I love that because I love blue jeans. I don't own any at the present time, but I will eventually. I'm on a healthy journey. So I haven't worn blue jeans in a couple of years, probably about 3 years. So I will have me some more blue jeans that will feel comfortable, that I can breathe in. Anyways, getting back to this. This is the colorway Harmony. It's 100% acrylic. It's the same as this one, 5.3 ounces or 150 grams. It's 344 yards or 315 meters. And it's a medium. I believe it's a medium 4 too. My eyes, and it's dark, 30, and I can't. But I love the mandalas. I love the mandalas. Now, a hint when you buy mandalas, sometimes when you take the wrapper off the cake, if you buy it in a store, you can kind of tell if it's all together by squishing it and just kind of poking it up just a little bit, not much. See, this is already pulling away. So what will happen when I remove this label, it's just going to faint. It's going to faint. It's just going to do a fay ray. It's going to faint. So that's the only disadvantage to the cakes of the mandalas. And like I said, I love mandalas. I usually recommend mandalas. But when I remove this label, it's going to pass out on me, which means that there's a 90% chance that it's going to tangle within itself. And as I'm working it up, it's going to tangle and I'm going to have to snip it. Because a lot of this, once it tangles and hangs to itself, you can't hardly work with it. I had a whole glob, probably that much, a handful, that I had to snip and throw away. Now normally I would save it and I would sit, because I love to pick out knots. I will sit for ages with yarn and pick knots out. I'm just a goofy person. I love to pick knots out. You've seen people that like to pick splinters out. I like to pick knots out. So I will sit for ages and do that. But I got so tired of trying to get that picked out that I guess I threw it away. I may have saved it because I may can use it to make fringe or a tassel on a bookmark or something. But I don't know. Now this is the beanie I made out of the Harmony. And it works up wonderful. This is just double crochets, and then down here it's double crochet and front post double crochet. And it's fairly soft. I mean, it's just as soft as any of the other to wear it. It's a beanie, you know, it's toboggan, a bonnet, whatever you want to call them. Now here is the one, and I couldn't find any of the cake that I had left of this. This is the Mandala Ombre Morning Java, and I don't remember how much was on the cake of it, but it works up beautiful. So it's out of the same pattern as this one. This one may be just a little bit shorter than this one. It is. It's a little shorter. The mandala works up good. I love mandala. Like I said, I'm a big fan of mandalas. The only problems that I see with the mandalas, because you get so many yards for the price. I think these cakes were like $5 something for 344 yards. And I mean, it's squishy. It's soft and it's squishy. It's kind of bouncy, soft. But the problem that I see is a lot of times it will fall out and it's already trying to separate. You see it here. So this whole section will pass out whenever I take the wrapper off. And when it does that, I will have to set immediately before I can even start working it up, unless I start out of the middle. In either case, when I work out of the middle, it's still going to get small enough that it's going to slide out of the wrapper. So it's kind of a catch-22. So I'm still going to have to, as soon as I take the wrapper off, just sit and start balling it up. And then maybe use the middle first. But anyways, that is my yarn review on the mandala cakes. I love the mandalas. Mandala has so many beautiful, beautiful, beautiful colorways in their cakes, and you've seen how well they worked up. I mean, I absolutely loved it. I made my son a beanie out of the Cool Froid, and it's kind of a black and white, well, it's this. It's kind of a black and white and a gray, but then there are hints of brown within. So you're going to see, when you're working in anything, you're going to see like a black and gray, a brown and gray. You know, it's kind of going to be that effect with just a hint of white. Just barely a hint of white. But it's gorgeous. It works up well. I'm a big fan of mandalas. I do. The only thing I wish mandala would change was the fact that, you know, when you open the wrappers, some of them, not all of them. My morning Java, I don't think I had an issue with. I think it stayed intact. But I've had an issue with at least 3 of my mandala cakes. And then I know that the harmony is going to be that way whenever I pull it out. But that is my yarn review. Getting back to hooks. If you buy one of these off Amazon, like I said, look at the pictures. Make sure it's got your necessities in there that you need. Make sure there's a bunch of different sizes of your hooks, because if you want to work doilies, you have all of those available. If you want to work the bulky, you've got the hooks in there. You've got a lot of, there's a ton of different, not a ton, but you have a lot of hooks that you probably won't use, because most crocheters find their favorite hooks, and that's the ones they keep handy at all times. My $1 tree hook usually lays on this table right here beside me, so that when I'm crocheting, I can just reach around and grab it, and I have a pair of scissors there. And I did have my measuring tape there, but I like having it in here so that I can kind of keep things together. Now, and these are not name brand. Like I said, I do want to try the Pioneer Woman, because I know they'll just feel so awesome in my hands and my grip. Now, these are my thrift store find. And I can't read all of these. Sometimes I just can't. These are Boyd. Most of them are Boyd. This one is a Boyd. It's an N/15 or a 10 millimeter. This would be wonderful if you were working up those. Have you seen the plastic bags that they crochet and make mats for the homeless? They make bedding for the homeless, and then they can roll them up and carry them with them. And they make them out of the plastic grocery bags. And this would be the perfect hook for that, because, you know, the plastic's going to be a little bulky. Now I'm going to try to read these. This is a K, an 8.50 millimeter, and I can't read all the rest of it, but it's a Boyd. Boyds are very lightweight. I have noticed that. Even this one, as big as it is, very, very lightweight. Very lightweight. And I like that, because if I'm crocheting, I don't want anything heavy. I don't mind if it's short in my hand or long. I don't want one that's real long. And I don't want aluminum, because aluminum in me, because I grip like this. This is how I crochet. And I have bent, I don't know how many needles, and broken them. This is a G 4.25 millimeter, and it's a Boyd. There was one that I didn't know if it was a Boyd or not. And I can't read this. I can't read the size of that one. And I think it's a Boyd. I'm not sure about this one. The first 3 was, but I'm not sure about that one. This one is a Boyd. This one doesn't say, it says USA on it. So I can't read. that. It's so tiny, I can't read what it is. But these are my thrift store hooks. So, like I said, ask and do your research before, if you're a newcomer to crocheting. Ask what yarns are the best. If you're going to do anything that has to do with heat, like a pot holder or a mat that you're going to put on your table, like a trivet type mat that has something hot sitting on it, you're going to want 100% cotton, unless they suggest otherwise. Acrylic, you don't want anything hot around acrylic because it will melt it, and it looks horrible. It looks horrible. So ask a lot of questions, do your research online. For what you would pay to get 2 or 3 hooks in the store, you could have this from Amazon. Walmart sometimes has them fairly reasonable. Just make sure it's got your clippers, your needles, your stitch markers. I just went completely blank. I'm sorry. It's almost 9:30, so I got a little spacey there. And make sure that it has a lot of different size of hooks. I don't remember how many this one has in it, but there's a lot. Like I said, I probably won't even use all of them. And I like to turn my hook upside down facing the wrong way when I put it back in, the one that I like. That way, when in doubt, I just reach and grab the hook that's upside down, and I know that's the one I used most for on the last project. So you could have that going, or put a piece of some kind of colored tape on it that will let you know that's your favorite one, or make a little note and stick it on there with a sticky note. Amazon, $10, $12, not very much. Like I said, you'd pay that to get 2 or 3 hooks plus a pair of scissors. You know, you're gonna have a lot of money if you try to buy all these hooks separate, and then the clippers, the needles, the stitch markers. So yeah, I'm sorry I can't give a better hook review. I use what's available. I have for years. My grandmother had one hook that I know of, and that was the hook she taught me with. And so I would go in the store and I'd try to think, well, it's yay big and it's yay big here, you know, and that's how I went. Now you have all these hook sizes and all that, so I normally grab the hook that's comfortable and that works in the yarn well. And a lot of your crocheters will tell you that some things. Now you got some that's going to push one brand or the other, and that's fine. They work with those brands. I don't. I don't know. I don't know anything about a lot of the big name brands. I've used Boyd off and on for years and didn't realize that, you know, it was Boyd. You know, I just would buy the hooks in Walmart. So yeah, that's my hook review for whatever it's worth. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I'm posting this on YouTube. But the mandala, I love the mandala. I don't know how that would be worked up for a baby blanket. It's going to be super soft. I know that. It's going to be very soft. And they have beautiful, beautiful colorways. So go on there, and it's Line Brand. So you know it's a good yarn. Line Brand has good, and I'm not an affiliate of Line Brand, but I've used Line Brand yarns for years. So they have Red Heart Super Saver. I believe they're the ones that make the velvet thread, or they used to, that was so soft and squishy. I would love to have a whole pickup truck of that just brought and dumped out. It's like velvet, and it works up. Oh, got it at the thrift store. Haven't seen it since. I've seen some similar online, but nothing. And when I order online, I really don't know what it's going to feel like until till I touch it. So that's another plus of going in a local yarn store. And if you have to go in the big chains, try to take somebody that's familiar, or call ahead and ask, do they have somebody that works there that understands the yarns? Because sometimes they have, from what I've been to understand, they have some clubs that meet there, you know, that do the crocheting and the knitting and all that. So, you know, that would be wonderful if you could find out from a live person. But do your research. Do your research. And like I said, just make sure if you buy one of these, look at it before you get it on Amazon or Walmart. And make sure it's got all the different sizes in it, the stitch markers, the scissors, the needles, things like that that you need. And I hope that you have learned a little something from it today. I know I'm not the best on hooks because I just don't use that many different kinds of hooks. But that's the best advice I can give you, is ask questions and take notes. Take notes. I'm a note taker. I believe I was born with a pen and paper in my hand because I've been taking notes since I was a little bitty. And I still do. I still do. So take a lot of notes before you go purchase a lot of things that you may not need for a long time. And your yarns, just ask. Ask. I told somebody just recently, when you're going in to buy the skeins of yarn or the cakes, according to what you want, always buy an extra skein or an extra cake. That way, if you've got problems and some of it passes out when you take it out of your wrapper, or it knots, or it's got a stain on it, sometimes they'll have stains. These have not had stains, but I have bought yarn before that has stains. Not mandalas, Line Brand, nope. But I have bought yarns before that had stains and places, bad spots in it. So just make sure you get an extra, because you would hate to be like me with my corner to corner shawl a couple of months ago. I went back to get another cake of it and couldn't find anywhere local. They were going to have to ship it to me, and it was going to take a month. I think it was like a month. And I thought, no, I'll just find something that coordinates with it. So just make sure. Find out the store's return policy just in case you don't use it and you don't take it out of the wrapper. Just find out all the policies. And usually, I think they work with you. But anyways, I hope you've learned something. Please take notes. And I hope you will like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be honest with you, as much as I know about the products, I will let you know. And when I do the Pioneer Woman hooks, I will let you know, and her yarn, because I can't wait to get some. But thank you. Have a good evening, and I will see you next time on Crochet with Lulu. Bye.